Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. You know, it's going to be a year anniversary of the Nightcap next week. And honestly, the only reason why we have this warning is because of me, FYI. So viewer discretion is advised, mainly because of me.
Live from the MOWM studio, Boom Broadcasting presents The Nightcap. And your host of The Nightcap, mouthing off with...
Welcome back here to The Nightcap. In the daytime, but not the day cap. So we're just going to go with the nightcap. Here on Boom Broadcasting, I am your host. I am, in fact, the Mike that likes to mouth off. I am mouthing off with Mike, MOWM, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me too late here for dinner. We are in the mid-afternoon. It is so nice. It is glorious, dare I say, that it is 1 o'clock local time for me. I have had my coffee. I have had my breakfast. I have had a great night's rest last night, even having to wake up at 9 o'clock for today's show, 10 o'clock start. Was a little tough for, me on a Saturday morning. Would have liked to, get a little extra snooze in, hit the snooze button, maybe once or twice. I might have. But man, it feels so nice. The sun is still shining behind me through the window. So I actually get an entire day. We all get the entire day left to go out there and enjoy nature. Well, it's hot as frick out here by me, but you know what I mean. You get to enjoy a Saturday afternoon early. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's the 5 o'clock somewhere show. Dare I say, I love it, Rick. I love it. Shout out to Rick, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're recovering. Hopefully you were able to rest today, after your surgery. So send some love to Rick his way. Him and Mark will be back at it before you know it there with booking like a Mark and booking like an 8-bit. But man, it's great to see you here on a Saturday afternoon. Well, it's now 4 o'clock for you guys back east. It's 1 o'clock for me. I don't know what time it is for the rest of you guys out there. But I do know it's time for me here tonight to stop yapping and let's get into Night of Champions. Before we dissect the 6 matches, I know Saudi probably paid a couple extra bucks for match number 6. But before we get into it, during the premium live event, I will casually scroll social media and I will see, live reactions of fans and other podcasters and creators and, a lot of fans tonight, pick this show to shreds. Overall for me, like if I had to give it an arbitrary rating, I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10 here. I enjoyed the show. The opening with King of the Ring was great. I thought Randy and Cody, for what I was expecting, they delivered. I didn't expect a wrestling clinic by any means between these two, nor did I expect a wrestling clinic in the main event with Cena and Punk. I expected to see, the hits, but I also expected to see stories told with the in-ring work. And that's exactly what we got with both of those matches. The street fight for me, believe it or not, in my personal opinion, stole the show. I did not expect this level of chemistry between Rhea and Raquel. Now, we know that they've had a few good matches, and they had a great NXT match, in that last woman standing match. Dakota Kai was locked in a locker backstage. But I really have to give props to Raquel and Rhea. For me here, they get the MOW MVP for tonight, for Night of Champions. I think these two women stole the show, and that's a hard feat, in my personal opinion, to do when you have Cena and Punk and Cody and Randy. And those matches were great in their own. Punk and Cody, or excuse me, Punk and Cena was a great match, and it will be another accolade in the story careers of both of these guys, and another match that, maybe in another 10 years when those guys are 55, 60 years old, you'll be showing that to your kids or their grandkids, and you'll be saying, look at these guys, look at 30 years ago, look at 20 years ago, now look at 10 years ago, they could always deliver. So I thoroughly enjoyed Night of Champions here. We saw a shocking title change. We saw a return and technically a debut, but he had been wrestling on Main Event. So with that being said, let's start breaking it down from top to bottom with each individual match. But before we do that, good to be here. I almost pulled my stitches when Rollins came out. Thought I was going to get the cash in that I called. Man, don't pull stitches, Rick. Seth Rollins in that group, that was a very interesting way to end the match. The well is starting to get a little dry when it comes to Triple H and his bookings for John Cena championship matches and his bookings for big championship matches. It just feels like there's a consistent flow of people that have to run in. I will say the fans showed for opener and closer, felt like they were sleeping for the other four, in my opinion. I will have to agree to disagree with you there, Rick. I don't pop your stitches when I say this. I thought the crowd was in it tonight. I thought they were way more in this show. Obviously, they know it's a PLE than they were in SmackDown last night. I felt that, besides Asuka and Jade, I think they were in for the show. They were in during Randy and Cody. They were in for Raquel and Rhea. And maybe at first they weren't into it, but they got into it at that end. Cross got a really good reaction when he made his entrance. Sammy, of course, they love him in Saudi Arabia. Both guys got good reactions. Jacob Fatu got a really solid reaction. I thought the crowd was in it for the most part. I do see your point, a couple of matches, couple of moments. But they delivered in that main event. They were jumping around, singing Olay. It was a fun show. I love it, Rick. I love it. But man, the King of the Ring final, a match we've been waiting 3 years for. 3 years to see Randy Orton and Cody go at it one-on-one. And this kind of went in a direction I didn't expect, to be honest with you. During this match, we saw bits of aggression from both guys. We saw the darker side of Randy Orton a couple times show its ugly head. Randy poisoning Cody for the punt and then kind of like going, why would I do that? Like doubting it, questioning that. Obviously Cody targeting the back, targeting the leg, being very targeted in his moves, not second guessing, not giving his opponent the benefit of the doubt. Something that you've seen in a progression from with his match with John Cena. He learned from that match. He learned that he couldn't take Cena for granted. The Cena that he knew and loved, and respected was no longer in the ring with him. And he doubted that, and he took his eye off the prize and lost his title. This go around, he did not do that with Randy Orton. He knows Randy Orton at his core. If there's anybody who knows one another better, it's Randy and Cody. They know each other inside and out here. So I really like that Randy and Cody were able to tell that story and even be able to progress their natural characters here and potentially see them maybe changing as we kind of go through the summer into the fall as both of these guys are chasing the championship. I thought this was a very enjoyable opener. The action was there. It wasn't going to be, like I said, a wrestling clinic. I felt that Cody did carry a lot of the load in this match, with Randy obviously getting his hits in. I didn't expect to see that superplex off the top turnbuckle. I liked it. I did not expect to see Cody target the back as he stretched Randy's back across the turnbuckle, of the post. And then, of course, Randy getting a chair, contemplating hitting Cody with the chair, deciding not to, ref saying, you're going to lose the match if you hit him, blah, blah, blah. And then him taking off the turnbuckle pad, exposing the turnbuckle, and then Cody using that to his advantage as he sees and realizes that Randy is not hesitating to do what he needs to do to win. So Cody obviously has to make that adjustment since what happened with him and Cena and how he kind of is that dumb baby face. I'm not saying he's dumb in real life. I'm saying in the sense of the character, he was a dumb babyface at Mania. He gave Cena the benefit of the doubt, and Cena capitalized on that. Here again, Randy Orton is going to hit Cody, bash his head into the exposed turnbuckle, and get an advantage. And Cody realizes that he can't give Randy the benefit of the doubt. They're friends. That's his mentor, but he knows the Viper and the Legend Killer that hides within. So he has to capitalize and pushes Randy into the exposed turnbuckle, hitting him in the ribs, hitting him with a crossroads. 1, 2, 3, becoming King of the Ring for this year and adding another accolade to Cody Rhodes's list of accomplishments and achievements. This guy's an 8-time tag team champion, I believe a 3-time intercontinental champion. He's a 1-time world champion. He's a crown jewel champion. He's now a King of the Ring, 3-time WrestleMania main eventer. The guy went from, once again, as corny as it sounds, undesirable to unfreaking deniable. So it's a crazy progression, and I really enjoyed this match. And I really think that when you break it down as how I did, this did what it needed to do to get both of these guys into an inevitable match 2 with higher stakes, where it might be for a title, or it might be for an opportunity for the title. So I very well could see Cody and Randy, the roles being switched here. And I could see Cody, having to put down the evil Viper, Randy Orton, when it's all said and done. I got to ask, with Naomi and Seth as Money in the Bank holders, who will cash by between now and the end of SummerSlam? I think Naomi. I think Naomi by the end of SummerSlam. I think Seth. I don't know what the plans are with the Seth case, because they're going to probably play around with that. They're going to probably hint a lot of different things, and they're going to kind of make you think Seth's going to cash in like they did tonight, and they're going to draw that out for as long as they possibly can. I think Seth very well could be a in the new year cash in, or it could very well be a Seth cashes in on the day of Cena's retirement vibe. Seth could be the contingency plan if WWE doesn't decide to take the title off Cena before his inevitable final appearance. Seth could be the guy who comes in as Cena's leaving with the title and cashes in and forces Cena to defend the title one last time on Monday Night Raw, thus forth maybe Cena losing to Seth because of outside sources, the Seth unnamed group, the Oracle Paul Heyman, something of the sort. But I like where we're going here. Cody and Randy heating up. Cody's got a date with John Cena at SummerSlam as of this very moment. So we'll see where that goes from here. But there's more to that story that we'll have to talk about when we get to the main event. As you heard me say during my opening monologue, well, the whole show's a monologue or a mic log here, whatever you want to call it. I personally felt Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez delivered a fantastic match tonight, and I think it could be considered a match of the night candidate on a card where you have 4 to 5 of the biggest names in professional wrestling: John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and CM Punk. Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley put their names right there with them. There are big names all throughout this show. Sami Zayn, Jade Cargill, Asuka, right? I'm not excluding those. I'm just talking like, as we know, if you were to give of a modern day Mount Rushmore, I think you have to include Cena, Randy, and Punk on that list. Cody's kind of like on his quest to be on a Mount Rushmore. Not just yet for him, but at least those three, those were a core foundation of the 2000s to 2020, 2015 WWE. And even so on and so forth for Cena and Randy. I would put Cena and Randy on the new generation Mount Rushmore. I wouldn't. Maybe I have Cena on my all-time Mount Rushmore, but as of this era, whatever you want to call that, their careers, they are 2/4 of that Mount Rushmore. So Rhea and Raquel, man, I got very scared a few times during this match because I thought Raquel dropped this poor girl Rhea on her head when she power bombed her through the cover of the announce table. I thought she clipped her. I thought it was GG's. There's a couple of moments in this match where I was like, ooh, like Rhea being tied up in the ropes and getting just pinated with the kendo stick. Great visual there. Raquel trying to hit her with the chair and Rhea kicking the chair in her face, and then inevitably them setting up the table on top of the rope to use as a platform so Rhea can hit the riptide from the top of the rope to Raquel and win the match was incredible. Now, I was right in a sense. Roxanne did show up during this match, but no Nikki Bella. So you can look, but you can't touch. Carries on. We didn't get to hear it. I was wrong on that assessment, but Roxanne did show up. And I guess you could technically say she cost Raquel the match, but she didn't really. She was enough of an outside interference where you could make the argument that she didn't cost Raquel the match. Maybe Raquel just was overpowered at the tail end there. I do believe, though, that Roxanne will become the other half of the tag champions with Raquel while Liv is on the mend. And then they'll inevitably tell the story of Liv coming for Roxanne and Raquel and being pissed and basically starting a feud with Roxanne when she's back from injury and saying, you tried to replace me. You can't replace me. Watch me, blah, blah, blah. Writes the story itself for the most part. But this was an incredible match. Dare I say, I'll put it up there. I'll say it. It's a match of the night for me personally. I did not expect it. Did not expect Raquel and Rhea to have the chemistry and the brutality, pun intended, with, obviously Rhea Ripley. But I like this match. I have no complaints whatsoever. My only complaint of Night of Champions was that from what I remember watching these pay-per-views and premium live events, there were more titles defended. Could you make the argument that we could have had the tag titles here? Could we make the argument that obviously we were going to have the Intercontinental Championship, but Dom was hurt, so that's a title taken off this. But even at its core, if that IC title match happens, there are only 3 title matches still on Night of Champions with the 2 King of the Ring and, the 2 tournament matches, the King and Queen of the Ring matches. So are those titles? Yes, because they're King and Queen titles, but they're not actual championships. They get the opportunity to fight for a championship, which I guess if you want to get down to the semantics and the fine print, yeah, it fits for Night of Champions. I would have liked to have seen 1 or 2 more titles defended here on the premium live event. As you see, Night of Champions. That is my only gripe. Everybody else took complained about this, complained about that. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Honestly, guys, and we'll start with the number 1 complaint I saw on social media during the show. Karrion Kross having a match against Sami Zayn, his first PLE match, singles match in over 3 years. And he lost to Sami Zayn, but he looked good in my opinion. Once again, these are my opinions. This is the Nightcap. This is my show. I am the host. In my opinion, Kross looked great in this match. I saw the fucking drama. Kross can't take a back bump. He can't take a flat back bump. He took 10 of them in this match. I hate when we have to sit here and we say these stupid things because a guy took one move one certain way, took it on his shoulder, and that starts a whole conversation. If he can't take a back body bump, he can't take a flat back. You take a flat body bump. Take a bump right now. Take that bump. I want you to go in your living room, assume the position, bend your knees, put your arms out, and take a bump. Because if you've never done it, I've done it on my carpeted floors growing up. I watched Tough Enough as a kid. I wanted to see it. I took a bump. Obviously, I'm not in a ring at the hard ring level that you're at in the ring when you're taking those impact bumps. But yeah, you feel it. You feel that vibrate through your body. You feel that hit your toes and your spine. So go take that bump. See how that feels. The guy's fine in the ring. He's great outside of the ring. He's a good worker inside of the ring. The whole appeal for Karrion Kross is that he's a psychological character reminiscent of what you used to get with Jake the Snake. He plays on your mind. He plays mind games. Obviously, Karrion Kross doesn't carry a boa constrictor. He has Scarlett who helps him, win matches and things of the sort and adds that spooky effect, Karrion Kross for me is what you get, is what you see. He's a great entertainer. He's a great storyteller, and he's a good worker in the ring. Him beating Sami Zayn would have been great. But at the end of the day, this doesn't hurt him in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't hurt him. It helps him. If we look at it, if you look at it at its core, it helps him because he had a good reaction from the crowd. We actually got to get his full entrance for once, and it was spectacular, like I figured it was going to be with that massive screen stage that they have. Karrion Kross is going to be just fine. If anything, we can capitalize on this. We can capitalize on this. We can now start to say, and maybe Triple H confidently, as he's talking here tonight on the post show right now with Jackie and the gang, we might be able to say Triple H, after seeing this performance from Kross and going out there and making Sami look great. I mean, Sami made Kross look great, but Kross made Sami look good too. I think Karrion Kross is fine. And I tweeted, look, right, straight up, Sean, Kross looked great in this match. Straight up, he did. And I tweeted this during the match. And honestly, I'll go to my tweet. I don't care. I'll pull it up here and I'll read it for you. And I think this stands. Kross beating Zayn would have done, great things for the characterization of the characters here. But at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. Sami is loved in Saudi Arabia. Kross could have won and got some great heat from the crowd tonight, but you can spin the narrative that Kross only wanted Sami in a match so that he could bring that killer instinct, that never give up, that underdog out of Sami Zayn, getting Sami to the next level, because that's what Kross has done for the years. Obviously, it was a fan-constructed story that WWE saw and used and implemented because Kross has changed people. He changed AJ Styles. He changed Shinsuke Nakamura. He's changed Rey Mysterio. He changed Madcap Moss. Salute to our fallen soldier. I don't know where he's at. I mean, I hope he's doing well. I know he had a kid with Emma, so I hope they're doing well. He changed Drew McIntyre, okay? He's changed all of these people, and I would not be surprised if Sami Zayn somehow changes a little bit. And maybe Sami Zayn becomes more selfish. I don't think he will be a heel. Sami as a baby face fits like a glove, okay? And I'm not talking, if the glove does not fit, you must acquit type of glove fitting. I'm talking this thing fits snug as a rug, snug as a bug in a rug. You know what I'm saying? It is beautiful. Sami Zayn has the absolute massive believability as an underdog baby face, scratch and claw. Always underlooked, always not in the championship picture, but finally gets there after all the years, and it culminates at a big-time pay-per-view for him to win the big one. At the end of the day, Kross will be fine. I could see Sami become selfish, and Kross just see him in a few weeks and go, Sami, I was right. You're a liar. Because that's what they're going to do here. They're going to spin this. Kross is fine. Kross is better than fine. He gets a PLE match for the first time in a long time. Whether it's due to the card having to be shuffled, whether it's due to Saudi Arabia paying extra for a sixth match on the card, I'm just happy the guy got some freaking shine today. Leave it at that. I plead my case. Rant over. Good match. What do we got? Some of y'all are firing away here. Podcast committee, what's going on? Good brother. Good to see you here tonight, Hank, or this afternoon, late afternoon for you guys. So Sets and Cash In today happens 100% at Saturday night's main event on Goldberg on national TV, competing against AEW, biggest show of the year. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. I think you're on to something there. I think Seth does cash in. It's too early to tell. I got to see how the next week of wrestling TV goes, because this week of Raw will be the build for Saturday night's main event, obviously with Raw and SmackDown, in July, bookending that. But I think we'll probably have 4 matches for Saturday night's main event, maybe a 5th, maybe 5 total out the door for that. And then you also have that same afternoon, in the early afternoon, you have the Great American Bash for NXT. So next, in 2 weeks, it's going to be a really crazy weekend of professional wrestling, because you have NXT, you have AEW All In, You have Saturday Night's Main Event. You have 3 wrestling shows on at one time. Basically, they're all in a row. NXT starts, then AEW turns on, and then Saturday Night's Main Event is on. And then Sunday, you have Evolution. So you have 4 wrestling shows in the span of 2 days. That's going to be a busy week for your favorite wrestling content creator. Mouthing off with Mike and the boys here at Boom Broadcasting and Booking Like a Mark and Rick 8-Bit. It's going to be a busy weekend for all of us. We are going to have shows coming out the ass. There's going to be tons of content. So tap in, subscribe, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. I don't do the YouTube thing. Maybe that's why, where we're at. Anyway, yeah, it's going to happen. Rick 8-Bit, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. Sammy can flat out work with anyone. He can work with a broomstick. I'm stuck at work, but I wanted to say I love you, Solo. Yeah, great segue, Wayne. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Hopefully work's going well for you. Hopefully you're not making your work to the bones here. But this match, Jacob Fatu defending against Solo Sikoa, the United States Championship on the line. A little bit of a civil bloodline battle once again. Good match. Jacob looked good. Solo looked good. Solo's found his spot. Solo has found his character. Solo is a little goofy. Solo's a little quirky. But Solo, when he has to, he locks in and he comes out and he has to wrestle and he buckles in. He locks the fuck in. Jacob Fatu is just a different animal, man. He's cut from a different cloth. Go back to the Kobe commercial. Can you be a different beast, and the same animal and a different beast at the same time, and the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? What does that mean for Jacob Fatu? Jacob Fatu is poised to be one of the top guys in WWE in the next few years. This guy is going to be a final boss level villain. He's a animal. Every time I see him, the mannerisms, Umaga comes to mind. He's like Umaga, Roman, Solo, he's like a morph of like all of the best aspects of all like the Samoans we've seen in the past. Like he's athletic. He's a high flyer. He can do swantons, moonsaults, springboards. He can ground and pound with the best of him. He can hit you with high octane, high offense. He's got speed. Like the guy is an anomaly you'll never see, with the Samoan dynasty. You could go back and you could go to, the history of the Samoans and, obviously Rikishi was, a big dude. Yokozuna was a big dude. You can obviously go to Rosie and Jamal, and look at those guys. They were big dudes, but they were athletic as fuck. They were doing moonsaults and splashes. You can go back to the head shrinkers and see some of the things that they did and the impact that they had. Obviously the wild Samoans, with the unpredictability and the intensity that they provide in the ring. And then, of course, looking at The Rock being a character and a persona and entertaining, and you get that with Roman and Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa, and Solo is very good. Solo, I was very high on Solo in NXT as the street champ and the street fighter gimmick he had. And I think Solo holding the United States Championship, as I'm watching him here on the press conference, looks right. It looks good. I'm excited for Solo in this title run. Now, we've seen tonight the return of the infamous Tangaloa, baby. He's back. And we also saw here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the debut, finally, technically, of Hikuleo. Another Samoan in the dynasty, in the family, brothers to Tama and Tangaloa. My man is 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that, baby. That man came out like a bat out of hell, big body Samoan. I mean, man, what are we talking about? Listen, this brings up point 2 of the complaints I saw here today during this show. And after we take a brief pause here and a commercial break from H2O, it's hot out there, folks. Hydrate so you don't dehydrate. That's what I said. We now have a new version of the Bloodline. We are now at Bloodline version 3.0. We had the OG Bloodline. We had the Solo Sikoa Bloodline of Jacob and the Tongans. And now we have a third version of the Bloodline with Solo Sikoa, Tongaloa, JC Mateo, Hikuleu, and a returning Tama Tonga. So Solo will be at max capacity when it comes to his third version of the Bloodline. He's being a comedy act right now. He's mocking Byron for the questions asked, and he's storming off the set here. So Solo has found his place, and we have now found ourselves in another Bloodline vortex here. And that's what people are complaining about. We're sick of the Bloodline. Put the story to rest. It's over. As soon as the OG Bloodline Civil War happened, more games, it was over. It's done. It's finished. We need to stop it. I'm not mad at this at all. I mean, look, we're rehashing things, but I mean, for the time being, so be it. Let's see what we can make and let's see what we can do here. Obviously, we're gonna get Jacob, and he's gonna have to go to Jimmy, and then Jay's gonna be involved. And then what are you gonna say? Are we gonna get Roman again? You know what I mean? Like, where do we go from here? I guess is a valid concern, but I'm not mad at this. I mean, I think we could see a nice spin on this. Solo Sikoa, man, he looks good with the U.S. title. So I'm intrigued to see what we do with Solo. I'm intrigued to see where we go with Jacob. Obviously, the Usos have to come into play here. We're going to see some form of another Bloodline Civil War, but can they tell us a different story? If it becomes just the same story we saw with the OG Bloodline and the Solo Sikoa version 1 Bloodline, then yes, those complaints are justified. If this is a situation where they tell a different tale, then so be it. Let's let it play out. But I'm happy for Solo Sikoa. He finally gets to hold main roster gold. He is now a former North American champion, and now he is a United States champion. So my man is just controlling all of North America and the U.S. So shout out to Solo. Good stuff here. Nothing to write home about. Another match that had to see a lot of interference. 3 different guys interfered for Solo to get the win. You protected Jacob. You made Jacob look like an animal. It took 4 people to beat 1 man tonight. I'm not mad at this. I think we digress. We move on. Jade Cargill and the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, both of them, looking incredible respectively with their gears. Asuka always very cool with the face paint. And of course, tonight, Jade Cargill channeling it. She finally did it for us all. She dressed and showed us the Storm fit. Marvel Studios, you cowards, get Jade cast as Storm because she looked like $1 million and she is your queen of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Jade Cargill has done it. She is the queen of the ring, and she will go on to SummerSlam and take on either Tiffany Stratton, which is my prediction, or Io Sky. Jade looked like $1 million tonight, presentation-wise. Now, in the match, this match was slightly, in my personal opinion, a little bit shorter than what I was expecting. But overall, Jade looked good. Asuka had a good showing. It was short. I think it protected both women. At the end of the day, I think this match was a get-right match for Asuka. She's only been in 2 matches since she's back, the Fatal 4-Way and the Alexa Bliss semifinal match, and now this match. So this is number 3. So I think it was more of a way to ease both of these women here. And we know Jade, shorter, quicker matches bode well for her and her abilities. And for Asuka, I felt that they didn't want to tempt the fate here and have Asuka fresh off this injury, recovery and everything, having this kind of high impact matches and things like that over the last 3 weeks. So I think the shortness of it maybe had to do with maybe Cody and Randy running a little bit longer, another match. I doubt it has anything to do with that. WWE they can kind of make their own timeline when it comes to these kind of things. And I don't think Saudi Arabia would be mad if the show went a little bit longer than anticipated. But Jade is the queen of the ring. We have Naomi looming in the background here. She can really come in at any time and cash in, with Jade, because if Jade does go for Tiffany, I could very well see Jade beating Tiffany at SummerSlam, Naomi cashing in on Jade because she hates her and becoming the women's champion, and we'd all rejoice. I'd be happy for Jade because she'd have the accolade as a former women's champion, even if for 5 minutes. I'd be happy for Naomi because after the years that she's put on and the disrespect that she felt and going away, coming back, change of gimmick, change of character, she's deserved it. She's earned it. Not even just deserved it. She's earned it. You know what I mean? So I was content with this match. I liked it. I felt that it was a little bit short, but for what we had to expect with both women and possible health concerns and things like that, I understand it. I understand. The main event. This is where things went off the absolute rails. Before CM Punk even hit 1 GTS, John Cena had hit 3 attitude adjustments. So CM Punk kicked out of 3 AAs in this match. Cena kicking out of 2 go to sleeps. We saw all the hits that you could imagine in this match. Like I said earlier during the beginning of the show, I did not expect this to be a wrestling clinic. There were some good spots in it. Most of the spots were finishers and their comeback moves, if you're referencing the 2K games, and we saw chaos reigning at the end of the show. I'm a thirsty man today. I'm a very thirsty man. It's hot. It's hot out there, folks. If you're going out tonight, going out in that sun, drink some water, man. Don't be dehydrated, especially, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. This weather is crazy. That's why I'm showing off the pythons here, the maybe, they're not 18-inch pythons, maybe like 9-inch pythons, still solid, still. And of course, you got to rock the Stone Cold, tank top cutoff, because one of the best kings of the ring. And think about what the King of the Ring did for Stone Cold Steve Austin in his career. Chef's kiss, man. Shout out to Jake the Snake. But I digress. John Cena and CM Punk was exactly what we thought it was going to be. It was going to be 2 guys that are 13 years later having a match for the first time in 13 years at 45 years old and 47 years old, having this match. And at times it felt that it was in slow motion. Yeah. CM Punk, 46 years old. John Cena, I believe, is 48 years old. So you've got a 46-year-old and a 48-year-old 13 years later after them being in their early 30s, in their heydays, in their peak, locking up horns and trying to go out there and have a 35, 40-minute main event. There are times where both of the guys seemed gassed. Cena had more gas in the tank than Punk at times. I will say that. Punk definitely was the cardio, and who am I to say about fucking cardio? Probably right now, if I try to do it with all the fucking smoking I do, I probably run like a 10-minute mile. God forbid. I guess we'll have to test that theory. I'll get back to you guys here when I go to the gym the next time. But the cardio, definitely you could see. Obviously, certain moves didn't have the same effect as they would have, and the speed of sequences, but at its core, it was fine. Like, it was a good match. I'm really glad the King and Queen of the Ring win crown, just so they can hold them. It's a crown. Put it on your head. Thank you, Mark. See, I was freaking out about this, and I totally forgot about my own pet peeve. Jade put the crown on for 2 seconds, and I was like, good job, Jade. Good. Great job. Cody just fucking held it up. He did the Gunther like last year. He just held it up. Put the crown on. Put it on. Look, ready? Hear me out. Just put the crown on. Look, ready? Here's a crown. Party City Cop. This is a rare commodity. Party City doesn't exist anymore. Listen, take the crown. Look. We go from this position. I can't even go that back. I'll knock all these Funkos down. We go from this position, right above the head, right? And we just take the crown and we just put it down about a foot and we put it on. Oh my God, the pyro goes up. Pew, 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 pew. And then you get this great photo of Cody wearing the crown and Jade wearing the crown. And it's glorious. And you put it in the video package in 10 years when you do the highlight of the next King and Queen of the Rings. And then the year after. And so just put the crown. Look, ready? It's easy. On your head. I messed up my hair for this. Okay? Cody, he's got a way less product in his hair. Put the fucking crown on, bro. No, that's just a little baby pet peeve. I'm not that mad about it. But for real, though, put the crown on. Let's be real here. Put the crown on. It's a crown. You're supposed to wear the crown. We had Wade Barrett. We had Jerry the King Lawler wore the crown for 35 fucking years. Wade Barrett wore it for an entire year. So did Woods. So did Zelina. Obviously there's some exclusions. Macho Man, Bret Hart put it on for a few moments and took that shit right off. So listen, put the crown on next time, man. WWE, Triple H, put the crown on. Tell Cody next time. I want to see a picture. Cody Rhodes, I want to see a picture with you wearing that crown. You tag me in that bad boy too when we're at it. Also, follow me back, bro. You've been following all these other fake fans, bro. Follow me back, dog. Anyway, championship match. It was what you wanted, man. It's what you wanted from these guys. It was once again, just like the beginning of the show, we bookend the show with another story-driven match. It's the story of two of the greatest rivals in WWE. Like Michael Cole said, one of the greatest rivalries in WWE history, John Cena, CM Punk. And it's the reigniting of that passion, that energy, the feeling that we all felt 13, 14 years ago. 14-year-old mouthing off with Mike was loving it. He ate it up. Punk kissing Cena goodbye. The unification match, everything, the pipe bomb, all of it. Everything leading up to this match was money, the history, the Punk life shit from last night, Cena's pipe bomb, the shots thrown, the nuances, everything worked. And then you get to the match. And of course, there are those moments in the match where you look and you're like, I'm watching almost two 50-year-old men wrestle. But even at its core, I have to say they did do a very good job. They played to their strengths. They tried not to play to the weaknesses and not show their weaknesses. And it worked out. And then you have the mass run-in of superstars. Seth Rollins music hitting, damn near almost bust our boy Rick 8-Bit stitches. Thankfully, it didn't. Seth actually looked really sick tonight in that suit. That fire suit looked clean. That's a suit that if I was feeling myself or something, I'd go out there, maybe get that suit, rock that bad boy. Like, I'd wear that suit personally. Like, that was a nice looking suit. Some of the suits he pulls out, I'm like, absolutely the hell not. That's a suit I'd rock. I'd throw that bad boy on, if I was at like a party or, some sort of event. Like, I'd rock that suit. It was a good, clean suit. Then, of course, right, we have them come out. They interfere. The ref goes down, infamous ref bump. Punk hits a GTS, 1, 2, 3. Here's Seth. Seth sends his goons, Braun and Braun, into the ring. And they beat up on Punk. And they try to beat up on Cena. And Bronson Reed saved CM Punk's life today. I wish I had the clip. I wish I could show it. Punk went for the jump over the top rope onto both of the guys outside the ring. He overshot it somehow, and he was going to land neck first. This dude it was going to be listen, I'm not going to say it, but it was going to be bad if he landed. Bronson grabbed him in the 11th hour and saved this man's life and his career, the rest of his career. So Bronson Reed, gold star. CM Punk, you better go buy this man a dozen from Mindy's Bakery, that spot you love in Illinois and Chicago. You better go buy this guy 2 dozens from Mindy's Bakery. Get him them vegan muffins because he saved your fucking neck. Literally. That was scary. Then you had Penta, which took me absolutely by surprise. We know Penta has got beef with this group. Braun beat him on Raw this past Monday. Penta coming out was awesome, though, man. I was just glad Penta got that pop. It was just random as fuck. It's like, oh, Penta's here. Hell yeah, bro. And then Sami Zayn comes out. And then everyone's kind of chanting, OTC, OTC. And he doesn't come out. And then they cue the credits after Cena gets the win thanks to Seth hitting CM Punk with the briefcase, hitting him with the stomp, trying to cash in, but not being able to thanks to Cena being savvy, throwing him out the ring. 1, 2, 3. John Cena retains the title. Now, once again, John Cena, at the benefit of Seth Rollins, inadvertently helping John Cena, makes their inevitable collision so much more interesting. Hear me out. This is the part that maybe the other content creators won't talk about. John Cena, to get that title, won the Elimination Chamber thanks to Seth Rollins costing CM Punk. John Cena, of course, aligning with The Rock, screws Cody over and sells his soul and gets the main event of WrestleMania. And he's a dastardly bastard, and he cheats and he beats Cody because Cody gives him the benefit of the doubt. Cody tonight against Randy, and a man who can change and become a vicious viper that he is, and you have to watch the snake from biting you, learned from this, as you heard me say earlier, learned from giving Cena the benefit of a doubt and did not give Randy that same benefit tonight when Randy exposed that turnbuckle. Now, all of these men are now connected. I don't know how Triple H manages to do it, but he takes pieces that you would otherwise be like, that makes no sense. And then they end up connecting like this little weird puzzle because everything dates back here to all of these guys. Cody doesn't win the title at 40 if it's not for Seth being his shield and Roman taking his eyes off the prize. Cena doesn't get to Mania without Seth costing Punk. Now, Cena doesn't retain his title without Seth costing Punk again. And of course, we know Cody not giving Orton the benefit of the doubt. So they're now connected. They're now connected in this. And we know Seth and Cody are super connected due to their feud that they had and everything that we saw there. So there's history there. You have Randy, who has history with Cena, and Cena was embarrassing Randy in his hometown. So there's that. There's the history there. Now Punk and Rollins are destined to do this forever. Cena, Punk, Randy, Cody, Seth, it's all connected. You throw in a Drew McIntyre, you have one of the most convoluted long-term storylines of the last couple years in WWE, where all of these men are vying for the same prize. And all of them have done something screwy to one another to cost one another or get them into a negative position. Ain't that something? Ain't wrestling beautiful? Ain't that a wonderful thing? And here's the sad reality. People won't look at that. What I just broke down for you, what I broke down earlier in the show, what I broke down earlier for you in the show with Randy and Cody and why Cody did what he did and why Randy tried to do what he did, because Randy knows Cody won't go to that level against him because he watched him not go to that level against Cena. But then he did go to that level and Randy had to respect that. But does he really? Same thing, Cody not giving him the benefit of the doubt. Here we go again. You throw Drew in this storyline, you have a recipe for a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful conclusion. And of course, Roman Reigns included in that as well. You have Roman Reigns, his advocate, his wise man turns his back. And then you have Roman Reigns, who was screwed by Seth Rollins 13 years ago with the Shield. Rollins trying to screw Roman out of the title, helping Cody, someone who were enemies. There's so many different storylines that branched off of just one moment in WWE. And I have to give credit where credit is due because it worked. We are in for something incredible when it comes to whoever gets that title off of John Cena. I have to say, the sad reality of everything is that people won't see this. They won't hear that breakdown. So if you're watching, tell your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend. Check this out. If I blew your mind today with what I just broke down, subscribe to Boom Broadcasting, subscribe to Mouthing Off with Mike, follow us, follow me at MOWM_podcast, follow Boom Broadcasting at Boom Broadcast across social media. If I blew your mind with my theories and how we're going to get to where we're going to get, drop a subscribe, show some love, tell a friend, watch this nightcap, watch this breakdown on what's going on in WWE. That's why I tell you right here, MOWM and Boom Broadcasting, we're the best tag team that you've ever seen, and we're the most underrated out there in the game. So tell a friend to tell a friend, we're up, baby. Night of Champions, 7.5 out of 10. Strong showing. I liked it. Matches delivered. Stories progressing. Even as detailed as what I just broke down. I loved every second of it. There are some complaints. Obviously, we could have done with a couple more title matches. Obviously, we could have done with the King of the Ring and Queen of the Rings wearing the crowns longer and Cody actually putting it on his head. We've got an interesting bloodline story developing. We've got an interesting story now developing with Punk and Seth once again now with this group, with Sami Zayn and Penta being in the mix, possibly even Jey Uso. There's a lot of different moving pieces. We're still awaiting the Tribal Chief, the OTC, and we have no idea what Triple H has in store for us for Evolution, Saturday night's main event, and of course, the biggest party of the summer in New Jersey, SummerSlam. So thank you guys so much here for hanging out with me mid-afternoon. It's now almost 5 o'clock. So crack open a Steve Weiser, crack open the Jose, and let's have ourselves one hell of a weekend. I'll see you guys back here probably for Monday Night Raw Nightcap, and it actually will be live right after Raw ends. Raw airs at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you, I will be live Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after Raw, the early edition of Raw, for the Raw Nightcap, and we'll break down all the chaos that's going to stem from Night of Champions and much more Monday night after Raw on Boom Broadcasting and on my Twitter and Twitch. So guys, have a great weekend. I'm out of here. Have fun. If you enjoyed the show, like I said, go out there, tell some friends about Boom, tell some friends about MOWM, subscribe. I'll see you guys back.